It cuts both ways. So when it cut both ways, that means in and what? Out.
Yes,
So
sir.
what I look like thinking that I'm going to talk to you and don't tell the truth. Anything I'm saying, even if it's only in my mind, is true. But one of the beautiful things that Almighty God, Allah,
Yes, sir.
and by whatever name, Mahulisa and other names he's known by, saw fit to do,
Yes, sir.
was to give me that little bit of thing they call PhD. Mm-hmm. So when you look at a dude like me, you say, oh, he talk country, he talk together, he look this. Dude, you know, I didn't buy mine. I got it the hard way. I earned it.
Yeah.
That Asian or that Hispanic say when it comes down to what we're talking about. So you can challenge in your mind, but don't try to challenge me with your tongue because your knowledge will not be sufficient.
Well, you know, before President Barack Hussein Obama got in office, he was dead set on saying the Patriot Act is wrong. It's wrong to tap in and listen to somebody's telephone and tap in on the internet. But yet he signed papers re-ratifying it. So can you give us your take on that?
Yeah, because when he first got in office, there was out of so-called Africa, Somalia, wasn't it? Where those people that looked like him, the first people he sent the order to kill was what? Some so-called Africans. And right this day, as we talking, the biggest terrorist he seemed to think is that young boy from Nigeria who just happened to be what? Somebody that looked like him.
Yes.
So understand when I say that he was chosen to do what he's doing, he was. His agenda, in my way of thinking, is to carry out what they couldn't carry out. So he is doing what he's supposed to do. They want him to do what it ever has to be done that they couldn't do, to take the resources or hook up the resources in Africa. And his tolerance for anybody of color, he gonna move on them faster than anything else, including us. I say that to say this here.
Yes, sir.
President Barack Obama and the Patriot Act and some of these other things, and you know more about it than I do because you stay on it.
Yes.
But this whole thing about this thing about the so-called conspiracy theorists,
Bilderbergs and Trilateral Commission.
and us not being able to talk and say this, those are not President Obama's agenda items. But he is the president of them. He is their president. They tell him what to do. He is following their script. So let's not blame him for all of that. He has no choice. President Barack Obama is a classical. He ain't the spook to sit by the door, be clear. And he ain't none of them other old Jim Crow names. I wouldn't disrespect him like that.
Yes, sir.
But he is a classical politician. That's all he is.
So did they
and I don't hate him for that. I respect him for that.
They put a black face on New World Order. I'm just listening, so.
You know, call it what you want, but he's a black face.
I'm asking.
Okay. Well, what do you say? That one runs for a political office like that, and when you get inside the office, be clear what I'm saying. Everything you ran and said you was going to do, you discover that there's some other folks that's bigger than you.
Yes.
And they say you're not going to do what you said you was going to do. You could do a little of it, all right? Because Kennedy wanted to eliminate the Federal Reserve. He issued an executive order, and it's still in existence, but the Federal Reserve still exists.
Yeah.
Because they told him you're not going to do that. President Nixon with the Hunt brothers, they asked him to do something that had to do with silver. Nixon told them, listen, I don't have to do that. I'm the president of the United States. And they said, you are right now. So you see, the public needs to understand. If you don't help the man, he can't do nothing.
Well, this is the United States of America. And the truth of the matter is, we was here when they got here, but the fact is they have taken control of it in a big part of the world. And I think we have to be fair to President Obama and anybody else, whether they be people in colored skin or people in Caucasian skin. We have to be fair. You know, you don't do what you want to do in that office. You do what we allow you to do. You do what we tell you to do. Even if the Constitution say do something else, if we decide that we want to change that, there it is. Pop, pop, fizz, fizz. So let's not be confused.
Yes, sir.
Let's be clear. President Barack Obama is probably doing what they have instructed him to do according to his agreement with them.
Because quote unquote.
Yeah.
You talking about the oligarch? Are you talking about the oligarchs? And some people may not even know what oligarchs.
Well, you using big words. Let's be plain and simple. An oligarch is a rule of government by friends and or family. Let's say it that way. Because the public don't know what an oligarch is. And that is what is going on here.
Right.
Remember I told you his mother is a direct descendant of 5 previous presidents. And you can trace every last one of these presidents all the way back to Philip of Macedonia.
And I think in what you say, and then we look at how visible allegedly one of his cousins have become since he's gotten out of office, Cheney. Cheney has been more visible as vice president used to be than he was when he was president, because possibly Cuzzo is in the position. And he's not just doing this to discredit Cuzzo, he's doing this to really run interference for Cuzzo. Cheney, man, I'm telling you, Cheney is really throwing down now.
Halliburton, yeah.
See, but it's back to what you said, Elder. The truth of the matter is, they say they kinfolk.
They are kinfolk.
I know you know better than me, so that's what they say, because you can say it with authority, because I know you know. But the bottom line is this here. That's why this boy was chosen. And I don't mean boy like that. He was a boy when they chose him. So let me not apologize to y'all. I am not calling President Barack Obama a boy. When they chose him, that's what he was. And they raised him into manhood to be president. Am I clear?
Because one of the things that they always say, see, they plan everything at 20-year intervals. They know what's going to happen 20 years from this day. And anything. There's a book called The Protocol of the Learned Elders of Zion, which they try and make out ain't true. First protocol says, might is right. We rule because we have the might. Because right is an abstract. It doesn't even exist.
It ain't no right. I mean, what you talking about? You might have a right hand, and it ain't right depending on where you at.
If I choke you long enough and ask you, is this right what you looking at?
Please.
Eventually you're going to say, yeah, you're right. That is right. That is right.
It's
that
might,
is right.
brother. And
it's
that's
because of the might.
Exactly. Be clear.
And I'm finna use the word right, but I better say your opinion. You know what, a lot of his cabinet members are in the Bilderbergs and Trilateral Commission. Is this a good thing or bad thing?